Happy Monday morning, or whenever you get a chance to listen to this message. I wanted to start the week off with you before the rest of my workday. Well, before my workday officially began, I just have some thoughts that I'd like to share with you. I have an offering that I'd love to share with you again. I haven't been on very much. I was on spring break, and many of us, well, definitely those Michiganders, but I believe spring break is this week and next week for many people. And it was so great to take some time away. And I wanted to send some messages. My heart has been bursting with truth and just downloads that I had received. We chose to, and I want to talk to you more later about just the spring break experience that was offered. And yeah, it was just amazing to go to Florida, take a break. But it was a gift. It was a gift that I had an option, I had a choice to say yes to this gift. And that is another message, though. So spend some time in Florida. We chose to drive to Florida because it afforded us an opportunity to take Jagger and to take a friend. And the drive itself was actually, my husband would totally disagree, but it was better for me to drive than it was to fly. And again, this is more messaging for later. Hello, Lisa. Hi, Sarah. Hello. And others I cannot see yet. And others who might not comment. I love you. Hello. Good morning. So my heart is just bursting with joy and truth and some messages for later, all in regard to just what I was able to experience while on vacation. And many of you have loved me so incredibly well. Like I want to bottle what it feels like to have been loved well by you with the passing of my aunt. And I had posted some memories, and as part of what I loved about driving is I was reading and just relaxing in the drive and listening to books on tape. And again, that's for another message. But one thing I got to do is take the time to think about and no, I'm not going to cry. I got a tissue though. I do have a tissue. I'm prepared. My eyes are just watering for the morning. But I did get to spend quite some time reflecting on my interaction with another human being, her identity given by us humans, those in her life, was Sybil, Aunt Sybil. My aunt had passed from pancreatic cancer this last week. And God called me. I had other human desires for work and how I was going to spend my time, and God laid it on my heart. He knew, you all. He knew. Just like in this Holy Week, Jesus knew what was happening this week. We didn't know, but He knew. Our God knows the future. And He laid it on my heart and He said, Tara, as much as you want to have this abundant, not that abundant really only means like optimistic, right? This abundant perspective, this optimistic perspective, leaning into health and leaning into prayers of healing and believing in the fullness of the gospel message that it could be for even those diagnosed with cancer, pancreatic cancer. Stage 4. That was this fall. That was the last June. And I held space for us, believing that full gospel message was for my aunt as well. But our God goes before us. He knows the future, and he pulled me in close, lovingly, and just a way that I would receive it. And he gave me an idea that it was not going to be, it was going to be well, it ended up being 10 months, but it was not, she was not going to be healed. He gave me that download. Yes, the doctors also gave that download, but my aunt chose not to hear that information. So we technically didn't hear that from the doctors as far as a prognosis. But my God, he said, Tara, I know the desires you have over your life and over your ministry and over other partnerships. But Tara, I have something for you. It's an invitation if you're willing to receive it. Just like I want to talk to you later about the invitation to go to Florida and to this free gift to stay in someone else's home and just the blessings upon blessings that we didn't have to pay for. It's an invitation. All you have to do is say yes. Am I worthy of that? Yes. Same thing with my aunt. And loving on my cousins and my aunt and saying, Tara, I know something you don't know. Marcia, Lisa, Lourdes, Jennifer, I know something you don't know. All you have to do is say yes. All you have to do is say, I trust you. I have faith, faith in which I cannot see. My soul, the fear, my own will over my career, over my ministry, how I want to love others. It's like we have this idea. Our soul is on fire. Tara's soul's on fire, y'all. I wanted to do certain things this fall. I wanted to spend time doing certain things. My mind had it set on abundance and healing. And my will was like, oh, I just want to be in this ministry and I just want to do X, Y, and Z for you, God. For those souls, for the one. My emotions, oh, I just want to do and say and be. And he said, Tara, do you trust me? Do you trust me? I know something that you don't know, but you hear my voice. Daughter, you know my voice and you hear me. There's this divine invitation. And I'm not going to lay out the path for you. I know you like that. Although I'm very well versed in saying yes without knowing what the yes is, just knowing his voice. Yes, Dad. Okay, Dad. You know more than I do. I trust you, Father. Okay. All right. I don't know what the next 10 months are going to hold, but okay. It's the one. His voice pulls us into the one. Is the one enough? Is my aunt enough? Were my cousins and the quiet time that I couldn't do certain things in ministry, I couldn't do certain things in partnership. Not that I couldn't, because he's not a controlling God. It was an invitation. And I said, yes. I didn't say yes to the global yes, to the bigger yes, the bigger yes, the bigger numbers, the bigger calling, the bigger, wow, but it's multiple souls, but is the one enough? Was my aunt and my cousins enough? Was their lives enough? Because I had to shut down part of my dream for the year, my plan for the year. I had to bravely say, I said yes, but now I'm going to say no. And I can't fully explain it. Is my aunt enough? Yes. I don't know what is going to happen, but I'm going to say yes to the unknown. I'm going to say yes to the quiet. I'm going to say yes to the smaller ministry of the one. I'm going to say yes when everything, every other part of me, even the financial, how much I gave up financially, my focus. And y'all, I will not be able to have the human words. And I'm going to try, y'all. I'm going to try to explain what I and my loved ones received by saying yes to this invitation. Yes. The conversations that I got to have. and the many conversations we didn't have, because I also had in my mind the way that I thought the yes was going to look, spending time with my loved one who was dying from pancreatic cancer. Oh, I'm going to flip the script. I'm going to make a difference here. And he said, Tara, lean in and listen to me every step of the way. And there's nothing wrong with what you think it's going to be like. I want you to have those ideas, but I don't want you to miss what I already know. Lock your eyes on me. I am an expert, says Jesus, standing in the tension. This week, y'all, Jesus shows us how he stood in the tension for the greater good, for the one. And that, y'all, God invited me in to stand in the tension. And he also said, it's going to be a quieter season. You're not going to be online. You're not going to be sharing these little tidbits. I want you to be quiet. I want you to, I've been coaching one-on-one, and I've been doing some writing, and we got this podcast up and running. Like the things that I'm doing behind the scenes, he still had me in ministry work. But the things he was doing, hang in there with me as I just let myself process this with you. Because my mind, my will, my emotions wanted to capture it and put it out into the world. And he says, no, not yet. Just be present. Don't miss what's going on right in front of you to hurry up and inspire others. The one right here. You're not going to miss a thing. You know, that FOMO, the fear of missing out, that was up level 10 for me in this fall and this winter. I was missing out. Because of what my giftings are, because of all the stuff that I wanted to encourage. And again, I wasn't missing out on other areas. I mean, good gracious, the things that he's inviting me into, but it was just so different. And the enemy was chirping in, telling me how much I'm missing out. And my soul, the terrorizing what I'm missing out on. If I say yes to this, that means I have to say no to this. Every yes has a no, and every no has a yes. And the opposing team wants us to realize, look at all that you're missing with this yes. You say yes to Jesus. Look at all this that you're going to miss. That's your king. Look at all that you're going to miss. You choose him, you're going to lose them. Come on, y'all. You choose your aunt, you choose your cousins, you choose to say yes. Every time I spent days and nights, even with, okay, my mind was going to go in a silly direction. I'm going to stop that. And even my cousin saying, Tara, I know you're missing out on work. You're missing out. And I'm an entrepreneur. So my hours spent, I'm not there yet where I have these products and I have this ministry where people are flowing in, like I get lovely donations, but, and I'm so eternally grateful for them. But what I do, I make money. Coaching, courses, everything. So when I say yes to my aunt, I was saying no to financial gain. I was saying no to loving other ones. I was saying no to getting my book out there in the world. I was saying no to other ministries and partnerships to say yes to my aunt, to the one. It takes courage to brave your abundance. It takes courage to say yes to Jesus Christ. It takes courage to this Holy Week, what we're going through. This is braving your abundance week. This is saying yes to the one, no matter what. And even if you're going to miss out, You're going to have people who are going to treat you differently. You aren't going to make sense to the patterns of this world. You are going to have people think you are unstable and unfit. And I said yes to the one. And what that did for me, y'all, in this saying no to certain things and saying yes to this, saying yes to God's voice, saying yes to faith and things in which, like, I can't see it. I don't know. It's so scary to me. Braving your abundance, the abundant life that Jesus, this is the Holy Week, we're ushering into this abundance, this free, already paid for, already taken. It ain't about you as far as your behavior, and it's all about you as far as your soul and your heart, that we can surrender all of this. And braving our abundance is about standing in the tension. Abundance is tension, y'all. Abundance isn't the vacation that I was just on, and the majority of the vacation was free. Saying yes to a woman and her family and her just pure generosity. Tara, I want to give this to you and your family for free. No strings attached. I have more on this later. But to say yes, like, yeah, going on vacation, being in what felt like paradise for free, no strings attached. To say yes to that. But that was a momentary picture of the heavenly realm of what's afforded to us. We just have to say yes. But here on this side of heaven, listen, y'all, in this Holy Week, listen in. On this side of heaven, that yes will always come with tension. It's not meant to be eternal spring. It's not meant to be spring break. It's not meant to be paradise. It's not meant to be like, oh my goodness, I don't want to leave here because this is paradise. Because on this side of heaven, I hope this is making sense. My brain is going in a little different direction. But on this side of heaven, y'all, there will be tension. I loved the break. I love the vacation. I love what slice of heaven that was able to like afford me. But what we're here for is to realize heaven on earth. God, I want to follow you while we're on this side of heaven, journeying through this world, saying yes to certain things and no to other things, and keeping our eyes locked on you throughout. There is tension. The goal is not to leave the pretend there's no tension, or to do everything in our power not to be in the tension. Not, what about parents and grandparents and loved ones and me caring for my aunt? It was all about the invitation to stand in the tension. Was I willing to stand in the tension? Was I willing to see the abundant life? My last 10 months, there was a level of abundance that I wish I could contain. And it was all the while supporting a loved one going through cancer, dying. We're all dying. But this dying, this acceleration of death, and watching it before my eyes, the unconditional, the inconvenient, the unconditional love and the inconvenience, that standing in the tension with other loved ones. If we're willing to say yes, braving our abundance, living this life in abundance is all about saying yes to the tension of faith. Not the only like the glory and the ease and the surrendering, like not the surrendering, because surrendering takes tension. The sometimes I think I'm checking my brain because I feel like I'm going to go on a tangent that I'm not sure I should be going on. Ultimately, what I'm trying to say is I'm partnering with you in this holy week. I'm using this season that just came to a close, caring for a loved one who was diagnosed and in 10 months later transitioned into heaven. And what I received by saying yes to standing in that tension was a gift. Was a gift. Saying yes to the one where it was so inconvenient. Watching Jesus, watching what he is doing for you. Even if you don't consider yourself a Christian, even if you're like, I've had people in my life that had called my faith like, oh, well, why don't you just have faith in the spaghetti monster? I don't know why they always, a couple people have used that as a reference, or have been agnostics, or, whichever the version is where there is a God, but I'm choosing not to believe. And there is no God, or those who are in a faith journey of other gods, but I'm standing, I'm wanting to hold space for a moment. And I'm wanting to share with you bravely the beauty of standing in the tension of life, no matter what, and even if, because my 10-month journey is different than your 10-month journey, is different than, maybe you know what I'm talking about. Your tension is different than my tension. Maybe with our loved ones, I was saying that a little bit ago. Sorry, I went off on a different tangent. But with our loved ones, I have 3 children that are young adults, roughly teenagers and young adults. And I have nieces and nephews, and I have other loved ones in my lives, as you have maybe grandchildren and children and other loved ones and significant others. And we don't want anyone in the tension. I mean, if we really think about it, we don't want the tension. We want to create space. We want to do the best we can so that there isn't the tension. And the script that I want to flip in this impromptu, like just me coming on before I get on with the rest of my day, is I want to bring to our attention that it's in the tension that is the abundant life. It is exactly in the tension. It's in saying yes to the tension and not saying, well, what can I do to make sure there isn't any tension? And braving our abundance is purely a courageous move. It takes courage. And that's where fear is present. The unknown of what God's inviting me into, that is present. Me not having all the answers, anybody with me? Me not knowing what tomorrow brings. Me not having the solution and the remedy and the cure. Me not knowing how college or how career success is going to go for my children, or if at all. And not avoiding it, but learning to stand in it with faith, with saying, not, and a lot of my phrasing, and I was sketching this out a little bit when I was praying about what it is that's on my heart. It's not, I don't want to miss, when I say to people, brave your abundance, and I go through my abundance academies with people, and my other courses that I offer, and of course, just my time one-on-one with people, which has just been extraordinary this season. I'll often say love over fear, where can you see love is just that much bigger than the fear. That love is just that much bigger than the hate that we feel for the situation or the anger. Love over, light over darkness. life over death. Like, just is it, but today, this morning, I felt this spiritual nudge, this push to say, maybe the language to be much more clear. Maybe the language is, how did I write it this morning? Y'all see it because I already I don't have it in front of me, but it's the while. It's not love instead of fear. It's not light instead of darkness. It's not love over hate, love instead of hate. It's both, y'all. It's the tension of both. Are we, now I am a Christian, I am a Christ follower. I follow Jesus. Thank God there's a God that I can follow. Because if I'm not following God, then what am I following? Because we're all following something. And if it's not greater than us humans, I'd be scared. I'd be really scared. Because if I am following anything other than a source greater than myself, even hearing myself say that is terrifying. I don't want to depend on people that are human like me. I don't want to depend, because everything of this world, and I sure don't only want to depend on nature. I don't want to depend on anything that is on this horizontal along with me. Y'all aren't enough. I love you. You're part of my community. Iron sharpens iron. We're here together. Again, I want to say one more time, I cannot thank you enough for the kindness in the comments in my Facebook post about my aunt who had just passed on Thursday. I mean, again, I'll share more later, but thank you so much for standing in the tension with me in that. It isn't, and I think I'm extra passionate about this because it is Holy Week, because this is the time that we are leaning in more to what God through Jesus did for every single soul. Everyone, even that person, everyone. And this is a week that is going to close with the entire week is about tension. The entire week is about the tension. It's both. Do we, as Christ followers, and God calls me not to only speak to Christ followers, God calls me to speak to the one. And that's up to God who the one is. But when I'm staring in this camera, I'm looking at the one. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at the one. I'm looking at the person that God is tracking down, Christian or not. He knows our heart condition. He knows what's ahead for us. And he calls me. He calls me by name. He calls you by name. Do you know the name? He calls me rock upon which much is built. Do you know how many times I say, stop believing in me so much? I wish you didn't have so much love and trust and faith in me. I don't have what it takes. He goes, I know. That's why we're in it together, Tara. Yes, I call you rock. Yes, you're dependable. Yes, you stand in the tension. That's why I call you rock. And it's a calling. It's not just an identity. It's a calling. And you with me, he says, you have what it takes to stand in the tension and to be a voice in the wilderness. And y'all, my life ain't pretty. Right now, whatever you see right here, it is not what's going on. It is not clean. It is not pretty. It is not orderly. It is not going my way at all. But my life is abundant and it is joy-filled. It is pain-filled and joy-filled. My yeses are not the yeses of my past. No, my yeses are momentary dependency on God. Do you want me to say yes to this? Do you want me to say yes? Because, man, I want to say yes to that. But what do you want me to say yes to? What do you want me to say no to? What do you want me to speak for and speak against? What do you want me to love? And what do you want me to hate? What do you want me to see? What do you want me to know? Not what Tara wants. What do you want? Because you've already gone before me. You know what the next 10 months are going to bring. And if it takes serious cojones, and I probably shouldn't have said that, but y'all know I have a sassy streak in me. Keeps us on our toes a little bit. So pretend you didn't hear me if that offended you. But it takes serious courage to say yes when your soul says, yeah, but that's not enough. That one is not enough. What but what about money? But what about God? What about that? And what about this? And what about my own family? But if I say yes here, then I can't say yes to them. It's about standing in the tension. It's about both. It isn't Christians. It's not about a cozy life where all the things, even your children, our children are not boxes to check. Girls and boys, I am going in a direction. It isn't about this beautiful life that everything looks and the fruit of our life and our children are fruit of us, and our careers are fruit of us, and our finances are fruit of us, and you drive past my house and you're the fruit of that life and the cars in the driveway. It's not what it's about. It's and I don't even know what I'm saying right now, but it's about the tension. It's about what you cannot see, what's going on in my heart. Most of what is abundant in my life, I don't even know if you can see it. I'm not even sure if that's exactly what I want to say, but there's this so much good that I have experienced in the last 10 months has been in the quiet that only a few people know about. But if it's not seen, if other people aren't benefiting from it, is it fruit? Is it good? It's about standing in the tension, braving our abundance, saying yes to the one, because the one is enough. That one is enough. And if that one is those little pitter patter of the feet running around in your home, mama, and your or father who's chosen to stay home and not work in a field that has much more noticings and accolades, then that is enough. Your home is enough. Your child's heart is enough. Your marriage is enough. Your aunt who just got diagnosed with cancer, who you were not in relationship with for 10 or 20 years, is enough. Your two cousins not going through it alone, they're enough. What is God calling you to brave your abundance? To your soul, it's going to take every drop of courage. Every drop of courage to say yes, going against the tension of your soul. But if I say yes to taking care of my own heart and dealing with the hurts, then that means I have to say no to maybe the desire of a college education right now. If I say yes to working on my marriage, that means I'm going to have to say no to a lot of other yeses, and people are going to start noticing that it's not what it had appeared. I'm going to have to say no to other things that I don't want to say no to work on that yes. I don't want to stand in that tension. Kind of liked how it felt to numb out and to not do it, to pretend it really wasn't there. Because I don't want people to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to see it. So I'm going to close with repeating. I know my identity, and it is not Tara. It's part of it. My identity is rock. My identity, God-given identity that was given to me before I took my first breath. The purpose over my life. I know my God-given identity. Do you know your identity? Because to stand in the tension, y'all, you need to know who God says you are. You need to know that you have a maker who made you on purpose. You can't stand in the tension. It will crush you. It will crush you. But when you know your identity, and yes, your identity comes with a calling. Who God calls you to be moves you into a calling. And y'all are going to have to stand in the tension when you're in the truth of your calling. It's not going to be easy. You're going to need a source greater than yourself, greater than your past, greater than the accolades of this lifetime, greater than your family structure, greater than what you've inherited here on this earth. No matter what, and even if, there's going to be tension. There is tension. Who God calls you, what he's calling you into, which could change over time. You've seen it throughout my life. And you have exactly what it takes with him. You have exactly what it takes with him to stand in the tension, to see what he wants you to see. And I'll add on that my soul in this 10 months felt the tension because I said to him, he and I would have a lot of jam sessions, and he had to do some flipping some tables, y'all, in my heart. Because I don't want to be a poster child for the tension. I don't want to be a poster child for suicidal ideations. I don't want to be a poster child for depression. I don't want to be a poster child for mental illness. I don't want to be a poster child for abuse. I don't want to be a poster child for divorce and for things not going my way. He said, Tara, you can say no to it. It's always a choice. Lourdes, it's a choice. Juliet, it's a choice. Catherine, it's a choice. Angela, it's a choice. Retina, it's a choice. Every minute within the day, it's a choice. Am I going to choose to stand in the tension of my true identity and of my calling? Because there's just a few, there's not just one, but there are different parts of the body. But there's a distinct calling over your life, Lourdes, that only you and Jesus can do together. Different than Retina, different than Catherine, different than Tara, different than Suzanne and Tina and Leslie. You are the one. And that's tension. There's tension in the calling. And if anyone makes it look like it's just this smooth sailing journey, then they're not acknowledging the tension. Because on this side of heaven, there's always going to be tension. And it might come in the form of abuse. It might come in the form of sexual assault. It might come in the form of mental illness. It might come in the form of cancer. It might come in the form of a few of those put together. It might be in the form of someone dying, an innocent person dying well above, too early. It might come in the form of abandonment and neglect. It might come in the form of whatever the tension is. It might come in the form of I wanted this job, but that door closed, or I got fired, or I lost my job for the third time, or things just continually don't go my way, or maybe the tension is multiple good things going on, and good for us. Like when that happens, maybe the tension is, do I say yes to this practically free vacation? Who am I? Who am I to deserve something like that? And I'm pausing every so often. And I'm just thinking again, Lord, God, my King, my Savior, my God. You called me into this moment. I pressed the go live button because he asked me to. And I tried to take the notes and I tried to make sure what I was going to say was clear and bold and distinct for a time such as this. And half of what I said, that's not even what I prepared to say. But I just said yes anyway. I'm not a soundbite kind of gal. That's not how he works through me. And I keep thinking, if it doesn't look like that, then I shouldn't do it at all. Because, no, I'm not going to say that. If it doesn't look the way that I feel like maybe it should look, or just do a 30-second soundbite, do a 3-minute soundbite for Pete's sake. That's not who I am. That's not who he called me to be. And I'm speaking to myself right now because I'm looking again and it's 42 minutes. I used to do this and up to 1,000 people would watch at once. And now it barely nudges past 10. And I do it anyway. Because it's always, whenever you see me, I would say 9 times out of 10, it's because I feel a message that I just can't contain and I can't keep to myself. And if I did, it would be disobedient. This is an act of obedience. 40 something minutes later is an act of obedience. This is who I am. My name is Tara. God calls me rock, upon which much is built. And there is an authority and an experience in my life of nearly 48 years of standing in the tension and sharing that we can see the light while in the darkness, that we can choose love while we experience hate, either coming from us or us experiencing it. That we can have joy in the suffering. I am Tara Olette. God calls me rock, and it is my calling to be a voice in the wilderness, to show you in the middle of my mess how there can be a divine order in the messiness of life. That no matter what, and even if I am someone who can help you flip the script and not to ignore the script. To look it straight in the eyes, to read it, to study it enough to say, I see you, script in my head, script in my heart, the belief system, tables. Y'all, it's Holy Week. There are tables in your heart that need to be flipped, that you need to get to a point of hating. This is the tension of love and hate. Hate the evil from which flows through terror. I'm not finger pointing at others. Less of this and more of this. I used to tell my students, anytime you are pointing your finger out there, you got 3 fingers pointing back at you. The log in someone else's eye. What's going on in your own? This is a week of flipping tables, y'all. This is a week of being okay to be angry with like this stuff in my heart. It's got to go. We got to flip it. You got to flip our own tables. Any barriers in our heart that are getting in the way of being able to receive the free gift of an abundant life. Y'all can tell how passionate I am. And I will close really quickly with saying that when I pop on live or offer any services, it is coming from the depths of experience in life, not hiding from a thing, I think, willing to see the tension and willing to see the tension, willing to see both sides of it. I have authority in this area. This is my identity. And I say yes, as much as there's parts of me that wants to say no. Can I just go back to being a principal? What would it be like, God? How about that? Can I go back into education? Can I just go back into, what about just getting a quiet job and do X, Y, or Z thing and actually have a salary? And I'm done being an entrepreneur. He says, yes, you can do that. But I'm not inviting you into those things. My grace isn't going to be over those things. Even if you get a 6-figure salary again, my grace will not be there. His grace is in the areas in which he is calling us based on our truth. And if we say yes in those moments, watch out, y'all. Watch out. And so the Brave Your Abundance course is coming up. Starts this Saturday. I hold space once a week, Saturday mornings, plus other times. All the information is on AbundantlyMe.org. I hesitated putting that out there. I didn't, all of this to say, it's an act of obedience. This course that I'm offering to walk intentionally with a small group of women for 2 months, you will be changed for it. It will bless you because it's his invitation through me. And I said yes. So there is grace over this course, Brave Your Abundance. Starts Saturday and it goes for 2 months through the Easter season. And y'all, we're going to talk about the fullness of the gospel. Buckle up, y'all. This is not a sit and get. You can't, it's true. This is like, it takes you being willing to stand in the tension to be part of this course. It's going to change you. And because of what I just experienced in being there with my aunt in the last 10 months, yeah, it's going to be extra special. Yeah. Anyway, I love you all very much. Thanks for hanging in there with me. And I know many watch later, and I love reading the comments. later if I didn't get a chance to see them now. I love you all. Ellen, nice to see you again. Angela, so great to see you. Yes, I know former educators. Like, there's part of me that thinks, no way would I go back to education. Bless, bless, bless anyone who's in the field of education. Um, it's a whole new world, y'all. And yeah, anyway, it'll always tug at my heart. Marlene, nice to see you. That's right. It's because of the darkness we know what you know what true light is. Exactly. Exactly. I can't believe there are parts of me that argue with God and like, I don't want to talk about the darkness. I want to talk about good fun things. I want to can I do other don't I have other giftings? Don't I have other things that are much more fun to talk about? And he says, yeah, you could go do those things. But you, Tara, just like Marlene said, you know how to see light in the darkness. You know how you have a lot of experience. Do you want to use it? Use it for good? Anyway, y'all, I could talk and talk. I love talking about my Jesus. I love you all very much. I'll look at these comments later. Yeah, life is so good. Like I have a whole new level of joy and happiness. And it came after grieving. It came after the mourning. It came while standing in the tension of life and death, mourning. This is heaven on this side of heaven, on earth as it is in heaven. Anyone want to walk through this with me more intentionally? All right. Nice to see you all as well. Okay. I don't want to leave you because I want to keep reading comments and just hang with you. But that's why I have this small group of people so we can interact and spend quality time together. Okay. I'm going to go now. I love you. Talk to you later. Bye.